Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's more complicated than trying to explain cricket to an American, the military might of India and Pakistan. Now, before you grab your popcorn and get ready for a Bollywood-level explosion fest, let's be clear, this isn't about glorifying war, it's about understanding the serious implications if these two nuclear-armed neighbors ever went head-to-head. We'll break down their military strengths, from the boots on the ground to the jets in the sky and the submarines lurking beneath the waves. We'll look at who has the bigger stick, who knows how to swing it better, and most importantly, why everyone would lose if those sticks ever got swung for real. So, buckle up, because we're about to navigate a geopolitical minefield with all the grace of a rickshaw driver in rush hour. It's going to be bumpy, it's going to be informative, and hopefully it'll make you think twice about the true cost of conflict. Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into a highly debated topic, the military power comparison between India and Pakistan. Who would come out on top if a war breaks out? Let's find out. First up, let's talk about the guys on the ground, the infantry, the boots on the ground, those brave souls who would be the first to see action if things got spicy. Now, when it comes to sheer numbers, India's army makes Pakistan's look like a small marching band at a parade of elephants. We're talking over 1.4 million active personnel for India, compared to less than 700,000 for Pakistan. That's like comparing a Bollywood epic to a short film. One's got a lot more extras, you know? But as any general worth their salt will tell you, size isn't everything, it's about how you use it. And when it comes to experience, both countries have seen their fair share of action. India has been involved in numerous border skirmishes and conflicts, from Kashmir to Sri Lanka. Pakistan has also had its fair share of internal and external conflicts, fighting alongside the US in the war on terror. India boasts a massive tank force, with over 4,000 tanks rumbling around, while Pakistan has a respectable but smaller force of around 2,800. Think of it like this. India's got the bigger, heavier elephants, but Pakistan's elephants are quicker, more agile, and know the jungle a little better. Speaking of jungles, both countries have specialized mountain warfare units trained for the treacherous terrain of the Himalayas. Because, let's face it, fighting at 15,000 feet is a whole different ballgame than duking it out on the plains. You need oxygen masks, you need special gear, you need a good Sherpa. It's not for the faint of heart. But here's the kicker, technology also plays a huge role in modern warfare, and in this department India has a clear edge. They've been investing heavily in modernizing their army, acquiring advanced weapon systems from Russia, Israel, and even the good old US of Pakistan, on the other hand, relies heavily on equipment from China and some older US hardware. It's like India's rocking the latest iPhone while Pakistan's got a solid Android. It works, but it might not have all the fancy features. Now, does this mean India could just roll over Pakistan in a land war? Not so fast. Remember, Pakistan has a secret weapon, its strategic depth. See, Pakistan's major cities are located further inland, while India's major population centers are closer to the border. This means Pakistan has a little more wiggle room to maneuver, while India would be fighting a more defensive war from the get-go. All right, let's take this party to the skies and talk about air power. When it comes to aerial dominance, both India and Pakistan have invested heavily in their air forces, knowing that control of the skies can be a game changer in any conflict. On paper, India once again has the numerical advantage with around 1,700 aircraft compared to Pakistan's roughly 900. Think of it like this. India's got the jumbo jet fleet, while Pakistan's flying a leaner, meaner operation. But let's talk quality for a second. India's got the fancy new toys, like the Russian-made Sukhoi Su-30 MKIs and the French-made Rafale fighter jets. These are top-of-the-line birds with advanced radar, long-range missiles, and the ability to dodge a pigeon in a dust storm. Pakistan, on the other hand, relies heavily on its fleet of American-made F-16s. Now, don't get me wrong, these F-16s are no slouches. They're like the reliable old pickup trucks of the sky. They might not be flashy, but they get the job done. Plus, Pakistan has been upgrading them with modern avionics and weaponry, trying to keep them competitive with India's newer jets. But here's where things get interesting. Training and pilot skill. Pakistani pilots are known for their rigorous training and their experience in aerial combat. They've flown missions alongside US forces in the past and have a reputation for being aggressive and tactically sound. Think of it like this. India's pilots are like the kids who aced the flight simulator, while Pakistan's pilots are the ones who built their own simulator in their garage. And let's not forget about the unsung heroes of the Air Force, the support aircraft. Both countries have tanker aircraft for mid-air refueling, AWACS, airborne warning and control systems, planes to keep an eye on the battlefield, and transport aircraft to move troops and equipment around. So, who would win in a hypothetical air battle? It's impossible to say for sure. It would depend on a lot of factors, like the experience of the pilots, the tactics used, and a little bit of luck. Now let's dive into the deep end of things, naval warfare. This is where things get a little more complex, as the Indian Ocean becomes the stage for a potential maritime showdown. India, with its long coastline and strategic location, has always prioritized its navy. They've got a larger fleet than Pakistan, including an aircraft carrier, because who doesn't love a floating airport? They've also got nuclear-powered submarines, which means they can stay underwater for longer and pack a bigger punch. Pakistan, while having a smaller navy, has been focusing on developing its submarine fleet. They're acquiring new submarines from China and Turkey, aiming to create a credible deterrent against India's larger surface fleet. It's like playing a game of battleship, but instead of plastic pegs, we're talking torpedoes and missiles. Now here's the thing about naval warfare. It's not just about who has the bigger ships or the more torpedoes. It's about strategy, cunning, and the ability to control the sea lanes. India, with its larger navy, would likely focus on blockading Pakistan's ports, cutting off its supply lines and trying to establish dominance in the Indian Ocean. Pakistan, on the other hand, would likely adopt a more asymmetric approach, using its smaller, stealthier submarines to harass Indian shipping and disrupt their naval operations. Think of it like this. India's playing chess, trying to control the board, while Pakistan's playing poker, bluffing and taking risks. But here's the wild card, the ever-increasing influence of China in the Indian Ocean. China has been expanding its naval presence in the region, building ports and establishing bases. This adds a whole new layer of complexity to the equation, as India and Pakistan would have to factor in the potential for Chinese involvement in any future conflict. All right, let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say the nuclear elephant. Both India and Pakistan have nuclear weapons, a sobering reality that hangs over any discussion of their military capabilities. It's like both sides brought hand grenades to a knife fight. India was the first to develop nuclear weapons, conducting its first test in 1974. Pakistan followed suit in 1998, much to the dismay of the international community. Since then, both countries have been developing their nuclear arsenals, engaging in a dangerous arms race that has no winners. Estimates vary, but experts believe India possesses around 160 nuclear warheads, while Pakistan has a slightly smaller arsenal of around 165. Now, before you start doing the math on how many cities that could wipe off the map, let's remember that even a limited nuclear exchange would have catastrophic consequences. We're talking about radioactive fallout, long-term environmental damage, and millions of casualties. It's not a video game, folks. This is the real deal. But here's the thing about nuclear weapons. They're more than just bombs. They're political tools. Both India and Pakistan use their nuclear capabilities as a deterrent, hoping to prevent the other from even thinking about launching a full-scale attack. It's like a deadly game of chicken where both sides are hoping the other blinks first. The problem is, in a crisis situation, miscalculation or even an accident could have unimaginable consequences. It's like having two people standing knee-deep in gasoline, and one of them's holding a lighter but swears they're just trying to light a cigarette. Not exactly reassuring, is it? Now let's talk about the often overlooked aspect of warfare, the economics of it all. Wars aren't just fought on battlefields. They're also fought in the factories, in the research labs, and most importantly, in the bank. India, with its booming economy and vast industrial base, has a clear advantage in a prolonged conflict. They can produce more weapons, more ammunition, and more tanks than Pakistan. They also have a larger pool of manpower to draw from should the need arise. Pakistan, on the other hand, has a smaller economy and relies heavily on foreign aid, particularly from China and the US. In a protracted war, their ability to sustain their military operations would be severely tested. It's like the difference between having a bottomless pizza buffet and having to order a small pizza and hope it's enough. But here's the thing. Even if India has the economic edge, a war would be devastating for both countries. The cost of modern warfare is astronomical, and the economic fallout would be felt for generations. We're talking about shattered infrastructure, disrupted trade, and millions of dollars diverted from essential services like healthcare and education. And let's not forget about the human cost, the loss of life, the displacement of civilians, and the long-term psychological effects of war. These are costs that can't be measured in dollars and cents. So there you have it, a glimpse into the complex and frankly terrifying military balance between India and Pakistan. We've seen the tanks, the planes, the ships and the nukes. But the takeaway here shouldn't be about who would win in a hypothetical war, because in a conflict like this, there are no winners, only losers. The true measure of strength for both India and Pakistan lies not in their military capabilities, but in their ability to find peaceful solutions to their differences. It's about dialogue, diplomacy, and a shared understanding that the only winning move in a nuclear standoff is not to play. Let's hope that cooler heads prevail, and these two nations can find a way to coexist peacefully for the benefit of not just their own people, but for the entire region. Thanks for watching. Remember, war is never the answer, and we hope for peace between these two nations. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more insightful videos.